Good evening and welcome to yet another online tutorial on microwaves and antennas. So we are in module 4 and we have been discussing about arrays of two isotropic point sources. Right. So we have seen three cases so far. Right. Three cases. Case 1 was same amplitude and phase. Am I audible? Is everything okay? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So case 1 was array of two isotropic point sources with same amplitude and phase. Case 2 was same amplitude but opposite phase, and case 3 was same amplitude and phase quadrature. So this case 4 we can consider it as actually what a general case of all other cases actually, right? It is the most general case. For instance, I can consider case 1 as suppose here this is actually what case 4 is equal amplitude and any phase difference. So phase difference I'll write as delta, right? So phase difference I'll write as delta. So case 1, it will be a general case, it will be a special case of case 4 with delta equal to 0. Case 2 will be a special case where delta equal to pi, and case 3 will be a special case where delta equal to pi by 2, right? So all the three cases which you have learned so far can be considered as special cases of this case 4, right? So here equal amplitude and any phase difference, which means source, like again I have my xy plane, right? This is my origin, so source 1 and source 2 are kept symmetric with respect to origin, right? So now I'm considering origin as phase reference. I'm considering origin as actually what phase reference, right? Origin is phase reference. Then one second. Right. So then I can assume is it same amplitude and phase. So source 1 is excited with some voltage V naught at an angle minus of delta by 2, and source 2 again same amplitude V naught but angle is actually what plus delta by 2. So the total phase difference is actually what delta, right? Total phase difference is delta. So if you substitute this delta to be equal to 0, that will be our case 1. Delta, if you substitute pi, that will lead us to phase 2, case 2. Delta pi by 2, it will lead us to actually what case 3. So we have the as magnitudes are same, the mode of E1, right? So say source due field due to source 1 is E1, field due to source 2 is E2, and the resultant field is E. This mode of E1 and mode of E2 will be same. So I can write mode of E1 will be same as mode of E2, and again as these are isotropic sources I can write it as actually what E0. But the total phase difference, you can see the total phase difference, right? It will be right due to this path difference d cos phi. As usual we have path difference d cos phi, and the corresponding phase difference is actually what dr cos phi. This dr is nothing but what, or I can write psi is equal to, right, or else I can write psi is equal to 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta. So this is due to path difference. This much is due to path difference, you know. And here I am adding actually what, this delta, which is due to the initial phase offset between sources, right? Phase difference between excitations, right? Phase difference between excitations, right? So here I am adding this delta here itself, right? I'm adding this delta here itself, again considering origin as phase reference. You can see this source 1 will be lagging by an amount psi by 2, where the psi is nothing but what, this entire thing. Please do remember that, right? Source 1 will be lagging by psi by 2, source 2 will be leading by an amount psi by 2. So we can draw the phasor first, then we'll move on to the math, right? So this is phase reference, right? So E2 will have magnitude E0 and it will be leading by an amount psi by 2, and E1 again will have magnitude E0. So this is E2 and this is E1, right? And it will be lagging by an amount psi by 2. So I can write E1 is equal to E0 e power minus j psi by 2. Right? I'll call it equation number 1. And E2 is equal to E naught e power plus j psi by 2. I'll call it equation number 2. So the total phase difference is actually what? Psi, and it involves actually what term? Delta also. Excuse me. Right. So where what you should remember is psi is actually what? Psi is 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta. This is what you have to keep in mind. This is the most general case. If you substitute delta equal to 0, it will become first case. If you substitute delta equal to pi, it will become second case. If you substitute delta equal to pi by 2, it will become the third case. Right. So that's why I call this is a general case. So maybe I'll call it, right, I'll call it equation number 3. So now I can write the resultant field. Resultant field E will be equal to, it's exactly the same what we have done, right? E1 plus E2, that is E naught e power minus j psi by 2 plus E naught e power j psi by 2. Again, I can take, I can take E naught common, right? I can take E naught common. So it will be E naught, right, times, or else, I can write E naught times e power j psi by 2 plus e power minus j psi by 2. Again, if I multiply and divide with 2, right, so this will become cos psi by 2. So we are getting the resultant, right? The resultant field pattern E is equal to 2 E naught cos psi by 2, right? So I can further elaborate it and write as, right, but remember psi is, I'm repeatedly writing it, it is 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta, right? So psi by 2 will be pi by lambda d cos phi plus delta by 2. So I can write it as 2 E naught cos of pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta by 2. So this is the general case of case 1, 2, and 3. So you substitute delta equal to 0, pi by 2, you will get the answer which we wanted, right? So, and this normalized field pattern, En will be, for that I should make this 2 E naught equal to 1. So that will be cos of pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta by 2. So this is a normalized field pattern, right? Normalized field pattern, I'll write normalized field pattern. It is also called normalized field pattern in all the cases. It is also called actually what? Array factor, right? So even though we have not used it for case 1, 2, and 3, and for this first 5 cases, we may not be using the term array factor. But when we discuss about the general case of n isotropic point sources, right, we used to call it as array factor, right? So array factor. So please do keep this in mind. Array factor is nothing but what? Normalized field pattern. So this is the most general case. So for different values of d and for different values of delta, you can get the answer, right? For different values of d and different values of delta, you will get the answer, right? That's what, right? So maybe we can, by making delta as a variable, we can make an animation in GeoGebra or MATLAB, right? Say delta from 0 to pi. As delta changes, how this normalized field pattern changes, right? In which direction we will have maximum, minimum, and all those steps, right? So this is the most general case for case 1, 2, and 3, right? So this is case 4, 2 isotropic point sources with equal amplitude and any phase difference, right? Any doubt in this? It's very simple, right? No need of having any doubt. But even then, if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. And I hope you are able to appreciate this, right? So you can see this as the general case of case 1, 2, and 3. Maybe if you want, you can try, right? Normally these things are very rarely asked in exam, right? In case 1, 2, or 3, you will get one question for sure. Say for separation lambda by 2 or lambda by 4, case 1, 2, or 3. It's a sure question for university exam, right? And even for an internal test, right? I can tell. So that's it about this. Is it clear? Please, can anyone please respond? Sherwin. Sherwin, can you please unmute if you don't
Yes,
mind?
yes.
Thanks. Is there any lack of clarity?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. So now that was the case 4, right? So again, we can write cos of pi by lambda d or cos e naught cos psi by 2. What you have to keep in mind is the psi is, I'm writing it again and again. Psi is actually what? 2 pi by lambda times d plus delta. So this first term was due to path difference d cos phi, and the second term was actually what? Due to the initial phase offset between excitations. Right. So that is case 4. Now we'll move on to case 5. Case 5 was actually what? Most general case. So here at least amplitude was same, right? Amplitude was equal in this case. But in case 5, we'll consider unequal amplitude. Right. That is case 5. We'll go to case 5 now. Right. We'll go to case 5 now. Case 5 is the most general case of two isotropic point sources, unequal amplitude. Right. You see this? Unequal amplitude and any phase difference delta. Right. Unequal amplitude and any phase difference delta. Right. Unequal amplitude and any phase difference delta. That is the case. So when amplitudes are unequal and phase differences are arbitrary, amplitudes are unequal means V1 is not equal to V2, right? Which implies mode of E1 will not be equal to mode of E2, right? And phase difference is there. A phase difference of delta is already there, right? So in this case, right, please do keep in mind, we are assuming source 1 has larger amplitude, right? So these, I'm just using these assumptions, right? I'm just using these assumptions. Why? Because, right, one second. Right. So the assumption is source 1 has larger amplitude, right? And that its field at a larger distance r has amplitude of E naught. So source 1 has an amplitude which is larger, and that is equal to E naught. And source 2 be of amplitude A E naught, where A is between 0 and 1. So A is less than, source 2 has amplitude which is less than source 1. That is an assumption, right? So I will say draw it, write it here, right? So, and one more thing, we are assuming source 1 has phase reference here. So in this case, we are assuming source 1 has phase reference. Why? Because there is no symmetry involved, right? There is no symmetry involved in this. Why? Because sources are unequal, even phase difference is also there. So the symmetry is not involved. So there is no point in actually what considering origin as phase reference. So I'm assuming source 1 has phase reference, and source 1 has an amplitude of E naught, and source 2 has an amplitude of A E naught. Those are the assumptions. So I'll, right. So I'm keeping source 1 at origin and source 2 at a distance d, right? And if you see a faraway point, we have, right, the path difference will be same as actually what d. Path difference will be same as d cos phi, whereas source 1 is excited with V1 angle, say, minus delta by 2, or V1 angle 0, right? As source 1 is reference, right? We are assuming source 1 is excited with V1 angle 0 and source 2 is excited with V2 angle delta, right? Source 1 is excited with V1 angle 0, source 2 is excited with V2 angle delta, and say the field here is E1, right? Where mode of E1 is equal to actually what? E naught, and due to source 2, it is actually what? E2, where mode of E2 is equal to A times E naught, where A is between 0 and 1, right? Which means mode of E1, which means mode of E1 is greater than mode of E2. Mode of E1 is greater than mode of E2. But if you see, right, source from radiation from source 1 has to travel this much distance to reach here, but source 2 has to travel only this much distance. So E2 will be leading, right? E2 will be leading in phase. E2 will be leading in phase by psi by an angle psi. E2 will be leading in phase by an angle psi, where the psi will be, you can straight away write, right? You can straight away write the psi is actually what? dr cos phi plus delta. That is psi is equal to 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta. So E2 will be leading by an amount psi compared to E1. So I can draw, this will be E1, right? You can see this phasor is E1 whose magnitude is E0, and this is actually what? E2, right? Whose magnitude is A E0. Maybe I'll draw it once again, right? So in this case, we can represent the resultant field like this. Please see here, we can represent the resultant field like this. I have taken it from the soft copy of the textbook, right? Thanks to Pritish. And here in your textbook, please remember there is a tan inverse missing, right? In soft copy, a tan inverse is missing. It is actually what? Tan inverse of A sin psi by 1 plus A cos psi, right? So this is the final expression. I hope you understood. Right? Are you able to appreciate how this came, or should I discuss? I want you to tell me. If you tell me, I'll discuss. Otherwise, I'll leave it for you. Did you understand how this is a resultant field? Whom should I ask? Samarth Shetty. Can you just accept and appreciate this will be the resultant field, or should I explain it? That is the question. Samarth, can you please unmute if you don't mind, please? I think Samarth, okay, maybe he is away for some reason, or next I'll ask Pratiksha.
Yes, sir.
Can you read that actually? E is equal to E0 into root of 1 plus A cos psi the whole square plus A square sin square psi angle of something. Right. Any idea how we reach that result? From what? From whatever we have learned so far?
Sir, could you explain that?
Yeah, like no, but if seeing that, are you getting any hint? Any guess how we reach that conclusion? No, right, okay. So I assume it is the same for everyone, right? So what I can write is now, so this is the final expression, right? So I can write E1 is equal to E0 angle 0. So E1 is equal to E0. That is my phase reference, right? And then I can write E2 is equal to, its magnitude is A E0, and it is leading from compared with respect to E1 by an angle. So before that, I think I should draw the phasor once again. So this is E1. This is E1 whose magnitude is equal to E0. And E2, you can see its magnitude is, E2's magnitude is less. E2's magnitude is A E0. E2's magnitude is A E0. And its E2's magnitude is A E0, and its angle is actually what? Psi. It leads E1 by an angle psi. So this is actually what? E2. So if you add these two, I should complete the parallelogram, right? And if I add these two, right? If I complete the parallelogram and add these two, this is the resultant. This resultant makes some angle. This resultant is making some angle. Say maybe we can call it as actually zeta. So we should find out what is this angle and what is this, right? So I can write it as, say, mode of E, right? Mode of E angle zeta, right? This can be written as mode of E angle zeta. So we should find what is mode of E and what is zeta. So I can write, this is actually what? E2 is A E0 e power j psi, right? E2 is A E0 e power j psi, where psi again I'll write it is 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta, that is psi, right? So maybe I'll write here again. So where psi is 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta. So this is equation number 3. So now I should write resultant field E. Resultant field E will be E1 plus E2, that is equal to E0 plus a e naught e power j psi. So this is equation number 4, I'll call, right? So e naught plus a e naught times j power psi. So again, what I can do is I can take this e naught common, right? E naught I can take common. So this will be equal to e naught into 1 plus a e power j psi. E naught into 1 plus a e power j psi, right? So here, right, what I can do is I'm going to substitute, right, in this. Again, I'm calling it as actually what, 4, right? Equation number 4 itself, right? So I'm going to substitute in 4. In 4, put e power j psi. E power j psi I can expand as cos psi plus j sin psi. I can expand e power j psi as cos psi plus j sin psi. That's what I'm going to put in equation number 4. Right? I'm going to put that in equation number 4. So E will be equal to E naught into 1 plus, I can write A times cos psi plus J times A sin psi. This is what I can write. So you can see this is a, right, whatever is there inside a bracket, it's a complex number. This is the real part. This is the real part, right? And this is the imaginary part. This is the real part and this is the imaginary part. So if you have a complex number a plus ib, its magnitude will be given by root of a square plus b square, root of real part plus real part square plus imaginary part square, and angle will be given by tan inverse of b by a. So here this is real part, that is a in this, and this is imaginary part, this is b. So please don't confuse this with a, right? So I just to show it's real part and imaginary part. So I can write it as right. I can write it as, so, and real part is actually what, e into 1 plus a cos psi, that is real part. Imaginary part is e naught into a sin psi. So I can write e is equal to this e naught, right? Root of e naught square will be common, so I can write e naught outside itself. E naught into root of a square plus b square. A is actually what, 1 plus a cos psi the whole square plus b is imaginary part is a sin psi the whole square. This entire thing under root. So this much will be magnitude. Right, and angle will be, right, and angle will be tan inverse of b by a, that is tan inverse of, or arc tan. In your textbook they might have written arc tan, but in actually the soft copy which I'll be sharing, in that this tan inverse is missing. That is a mistake, please do correct it. So it will be tan inverse of a sin psi divided by 1 plus a cos psi. So this is the most general case, right? Amplitude is different, some arbitrary phase is also there, right? This is the most general case, right? This is what we have seen here. E naught into root of 1 plus a cos psi the whole square plus a square sin psi. One tan inverse is missing here. In your textbook. Please do note that, right? So that is, and this zeta, this actually what, this angle is actually what, this one is zeta, right? As per this phasor diagram, the zeta is that angle. Magnitude is e naught into 1 plus a cos psi the whole square plus a sin psi the whole square. So that is the most general case. And this again, normally they never used to ask, but in case if it is asked, you should be able to do it, right? Any doubt in this, please feel free to ask. So that was case 5. Even though this expression looks little bit actually lengthy, but it's very simple. So the assumption is source 1 has larger magnitude, that is E naught, and source 2 magnitude is A times E naught, where A is a number, or A is a real number between 0 and 1. So A is a fraction, right? Which means magnitude of source 2 is A times E naught, and the phase difference is delta. So finally I can write it as actually what? Magnitude times phase. This is how I can write it. And this is the most general case. In this, if A is equal to 1 and delta equal to 0, right? When I say most general case, 4 cases 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? If we substitute A is equal to 1, this will reduce to actually what? Case 4, right? If you substitute A equal to 1, it will reduce to case 4 and 4, and A equal to 1. Further, if delta equal to 0, that will be case 1. Delta equal to pi will be case 2. Delta equal to pi by 2 will be case 3 for A equal to 1, right? And if A is not equal to 1, that is the most general case. It can be array of any two isotropic sources with unequal amplitude and phase, right? That is about case 5. Is it clear? Is it clear? Is everything fine? Right? Or people are busy with something else? Yeah, okay, fine. I hope it's clear. So with that, I'll move on to the next problem. Next, not problem. Next is actually what? The principle of pattern multiplication. Right. So far, in case 1 through, right, in case actually what? 1 through 5, we were considering about isotropic point sources, right? We were considering about isotropic point sources. One second, right? Isotropic point sources. So when I say isotropic, if you have a source, it radiates equally well in all directions. So its field at any distance r in any given direction, or at any given distance r is independent of phi, right? Field is independent of phi if it is isotropic. But instead of isotropic sources, if we have non-isotropic sources, non-isotropic but similar point sources, that is the next case, right? So principle of pattern multiplication, that is the topic, right? Principle of pattern multiplication. This is, right, this is the case of non-isotropic. If it is non-isotropic, it can be actually what? Directional, right? If, for example, if it is a dipole, right? If you have a dipole, short dipole like this, right? And if you keep it in xy plane, if you keep this dipole in xy plane like this, it will radiate maximum along plus x and minus x. So you can write the pattern as almost cos phi pattern, right? And if you keep the same dipole like this horizontally, right, along x-axis like this, right? So it will be a sin phi pattern. It will be a sin phi pattern. So this is actually what? Non-isotropic. Non-isotropic means directional, right? Non-isotropic means directional, right? So if you replace, right, so you can see here, instead of isotropic source, if you replace it with a non-isotropic source, what will be the resultant field? That is a question, right? So it will, right, through an example we'll deal this case, and it will lead to the principle of pattern multiplication. This is very, 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 very important as far as your university exam is concerned, and as far as your internal test is also concerned, right? There was hardly any question paper without this question, right? Either they used to ask explain principle of pattern multiplication, or they used to ask with an example illustrate the principle of pattern multiplication, or else they may ask a problem for sure, right? Principle of pattern multiplication, right? So I hope you understood the reference. This is the case of non-isotropic but similar point source. So again, there is something called similar, right? So you know what is a non-isotropic? You know what is meant by non-isotropic source. But what do you mean by similar source? What do you mean by similar source? Similar means it should have same radiation characteristics. If not same amplitude, at least the pattern should be same, right? If not same amplitude, the pattern should be same. So this is a case of an array of point sources which are non-isotropic but similar, right? So non-isotropic, you know, it's directional. It can be cos phi, sin phi, or any pattern which is dependent on phi. So if it was say isotropic, we assumed at a distance r, the field was magnitude was E naught, right? Why? Because it was not a function of phi, it was a constant. But if it is directional, I should consider actually what E naught will be, right? E naught will be a function of phi. E naught will be a function of phi, right? So the word similar, what is the meaning of word similar? That is the question now, right? Similar means the variation with absolute angle phi of both amplitude and phase of the field is the same, right? Variation with phi, right? So it's amplitude and phase varies the same way. Source 1 and source 2 have same kind of variation with respect to phi for amplitude and phase. That is meant by similar, right? So which it doesn't mean both the source 1 and 2 should have same amplitude, but if they have same amplitude, so the maximum amplitude of the individual sources may be unequal, right? Even if they are unequal, they can be similar. The maximum amplitude can be unequal, but even then they are similar. But if the maximum amplitude are also equal, the sources are said not only similar but they are identical, right? If exactly same, if you use two dipoles, you are exciting with same voltage and phase in both for both the dipoles, then they are called actually what? Non-isotropic identical sources. If the amplitudes are different, right? If the amplitudes are different, then we can call it actually what? Similar. If amplitudes are also same, it's not only similar but it is identical. So we are going to discuss about array of two non-isotropic but similar point sources, right? It will lead us to the principle of pattern multiplication, right? So this is what we have to write. This is what we should conclude at the end, but I know you won't be able to appreciate it now. But before that, we should do some actually math, right? So again, you can see I have considered two short dipoles. Short dipoles are kept like this, right? Short dipoles are kept like this. If a dipole is kept like this, its pattern maximum will be actually what? Like this. So this is phi equal to 0. This is phi equal to 90 degree, 180 degree. So I can call this pattern as actually what? Sine phi pattern. So I can write here, right here, E naught, right? E naught is, I'm calling it as E naught dash times sine phi, which means E naught is a function of phi. The pattern changes, right? Individual array element, the field pattern, it is actually what? It's a function of phi. It changes with phi. That is the meaning, right? And again, in similar way, we can find out, right, the field at a faraway point, right? So the path difference will be d cos phi. The path difference will be d cos phi, right? And say this is E1 and this is E2. The resultant will be actually what? E, that will be E1 plus E2. We'll see what exactly is that. Then we'll try and actually what? We'll come back to this. After that, we'll come back to this figure, right? This is actually what? Principle of pattern multiplication. So I can write in this case, right? In this case, right? I am writing field of individual non-isotropic source right at a distance r in direction phi. It is given as actually what? E naught is E naught dash sine phi. In exam they will give this when array of two sources having individual field pattern E naught dash sine phi, right? For instance, let us assume, right, both have same magnitude. For instance, let us assume both have same magnitude E naught, right? So I can write now, right? So this, there will be a phase difference, right? A total phase difference psi can be written as again 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi, right? 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi. I can write phase difference psi to be equal to 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi, and I am assuming both are fed in phase, right? I am assuming both are fed with v naught angle 0 and v naught angle 0. I am assuming both are fed in phase, right? Excitations are in phase which means delta I equal to 0, right? I can assume that. So psi is 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi. Then I can write even will lag, right? Even will lag and E2 will lead, right? E2 will lead. I can write that. So I can write even will be equal to E naught e power minus j psi by 2, where this E naught is nothing but what? E naught intern is actually, you have to remember, it is the very important point which you have to keep in mind. E naught intern is a function of phi, right? E naught intern is a function of phi that is given by E naught dash sin phi. I'm not substituting it now. I'll substitute it later. I'll call it equation number 1, right? And similarly, I can write E2. E2 can be written as E naught e power j psi by 2. That is equation number 2, right? So now I can write resultant field E is equal to E1 plus E2. That is equal to E naught e power minus j psi by 2 plus E naught e power plus j psi by 2. So we can again write this as, maybe I'll write on the right hand side, right? I'll continue here on the right hand side, right? We can write it as E is equal to 2 E naught cos of psi by 2, where this E naught is nothing but what? E naught intern is equal to 2 E naught dash sin phi, where E naught is actually what? I'm calling it equation number A, right? I'm calling it equation number A, right? So this A, if you put in this 2 E naught sin phi cos of psi by 2, right? 2 E naught dash sin phi cos of psi by 2. So the normalized field, this is the, right? So this is the actual field pattern in this case. And this is the actual field pattern in this case, and the normalized field pattern En is equal to, right? You have to make 2 E naught dash act as 1. So that will be sin phi times cos of psi by 2. That will be sin phi times cos of psi by 2. If you inspect this very carefully, right? This sin phi, it is nothing but what? Field of, it is nothing but field of individual non-isotropic array element, right? Sin phi is nothing but what? It is field of, normalized field of, right? Normalized field pattern of individual non-isotropic array element, right? And this cos psi by 2, if you remember, cos psi by 2 is actually what? It is normalized field of array of isotropic radiator. Is a normalized field of array of isotropic radiator. So you can see, if you replace an two isotropic radiators with directional antenna, the resultant field will be actually what? Product of these two terms, right? That is normalized field of individual non-isotropic array element, I should write, right? So in this case, a short dipole, right? In this case, this is of a short dipole which is placed along x-axis, and this cos psi by 2, it is nothing but what? Normalized field of an array of isotropic radiators. So instead of this dipoles, if you had kept isotropic radiators, the array element would have been, so we have studied it already, 2 E naught cos of psi by 2, or right, normalized field pattern would have been cos of pi by lambda times d cos phi, right? So this is the case. So the resultant field due to an array of non-isotropic but similar point sources is equal to actually what? The product of individual field, right? Individual field of the non-isotropic array element and the field due to an array of isotropic point sources, where these isotropic point sources, if I keep at same place, right? If I keep at the phase centers of source 1 and source 2, right? If I keep an isotropic point source, because of that, what pattern we are getting? The product of these two. That is actually the principle of pattern multiplication. That is what I have shown here, right? So This is actually the sine phi pattern. This is sine phi pattern. This is sine phi. This is due to individual array element. This is due to this is of dipole, right? This is of this dipole, and this is right for lambda by 2. For lambda by 2, this array of isotropic point sources will reduce to, I'll write here, cos of pi by 2 times cos phi. This is actually what case 1 for lambda by 2. I'll write here, it is case 1 for distance equal to lambda by 2, that is cos of pi by 2 cos phi. The resultant field, you can see, it is given by this. It is a product of these two. When you multiply these two, you will get, so the resultant field is sine phi times cos of psi by 2. So in case of a lambda by 2 dipoles, if the separation is lambda by 2, I can write it as cos of pi by 2 cos phi, right? So this is called principle of pattern multiplication. It's very simple, right? It's very simple, right? Nothing is there. Don't think it's actually complicated, right? So I'll give you some time to digest this. So what I have done is, we have two non-isotropic sources. Instead of isotropic sources, we have taken non-isotropic sources. In first case, I have considered some elements which has individual field pattern like this, sine phi pattern. So this can be obtained using a dipole, right? Dipole kept along x-axis can be obtained. So the resultant field due to this two dipoles separated by some distance d, symmetric with respect to origin, is equal to, right, the product of the field of individual array element, that is sine phi. Normalized field of individual array element is sine phi, and the array factor or normalized field of the same two isotropic point sources which are located at same points, right? Which are located at same points and which are fed with same amplitude and same phase, right? So this is the case. So I'll show the statement now. Please do note it down, right? So I'll read out the statement of principle of pattern multiplication now, right? So the field pattern of an array of non-isotropic but similar point sources, right? The field pattern of an array of non-isotropic, right? Non-isotropic but similar point sources is the product of, right? It's the product of the pattern of the individual source, product of the pattern of the individual source. In this case, actually, what dipole? It has actually what the pattern equal to sine phi, and the pattern of an array of isotropic sources, array of isotropic point sources having same locations, relative amplitudes, and phase. This is called principle of pattern multiplication. This is called principle of pattern multiplication. Either you will be asked to write short note on principle of pattern multiplication, then you should write this. So the next one is actually what more general one. We'll come to that. Before that, we'll see one more example, right? Before we come to more general one, we'll see one more example. So all of you, please take it down. The field pattern of an array of non-isotropic but similar point sources is the product of pattern of the individual source. In this example, which we have seen, right, the individual source had a pattern, right? Individual source had a pattern sine phi, and array of isotropic point source, it had a pattern, right? Array of isotropic point source had a pattern cos of psi by 2. Array of isotropic point source had a pattern cos of psi by 2. So product of these two will be the resultant field. The resultant field pattern is actually what? The resultant field pattern is cos of sine phi times cos of psi by 2. That is the resultant field pattern. So please try to read this, and I would like to ask, are you able to appreciate this at least little bit? Some idea are you getting? Some idea are you getting? Please do respond. This is very critical. This is very crucial, right? Are you getting this? For sure, you are going to get a problem in this, right? So it's yeah. So maybe slowly things are getting complicated, but it's not exactly complication, right? Should be able to appreciate this. Yeah, thank you. Right. Now only Shrey has responded. So I hope for others also you'll be able to appreciate it later. Right. So that was the case one we have seen. Right. So if two dipoles are kept along x-axis, this would have been the case. now we'll see the next case. It is a bit more interesting. The next case is actually what? Suppose these dipoles are kept vertically, right, parallel to y-axis. So if you have a dipole which is kept parallel to y-axis, right, if you have a dipole kept like this, right, its radiation pattern will be something like this, right? Its radiation pattern will be something like this. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. So the pattern maximum is along phi equal to 0. So this, in this case, right, 1 second, Rashi, give me a moment. Yeah, sorry for the trouble, right? So in this case, right, I can write E naught, the individual, right, array elements will have pattern E naught dash times cos phi. That's why I have written here this is actually what? Cos phi. This is cos of pi by 2 cos phi, right? When you multiply these two, the resultant field will be like this. You have a null in this direction, right? In this null in this direction, and in this actually what? Nulls. So nulls are actually not common. So what will happen? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 nulls here and radiations in between. So if you multiply these two, you will get this, right? So here, whenever we have maxima, you are multiplying it with a null. So in this direction, we have a null. So here again, we have maxima, but here a null. So here again, we are getting a null. So we have radiations in between. We have radiations in between, right? We have radiations in between. So we just try to show this, right? We just try to prove this, right? So we know the resultant field E is equal to 2 E naught cos of psi by 2, where E naught is equal to actually what? E naught dash cos phi. So I can write it as actually what? 2 E naught dash cos phi times cos of psi by 2. So which implies a normalized field pattern is nothing but what? Cos phi times cos of psi by 2. So in the case where psi is nothing but what? Psi is nothing but 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi, right? 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi. And for d is equal to lambda by 2, the psi will become actually what? Pi by 2 lambda. So maybe that case again I can write, right? For d equal to lambda by 2, we can write En is equal to cos phi times cos of pi by 2 times cos phi, right? So it is a product of individual array factor to array factor of isotropic point sources, which is kept at same location and fed with same amplitude and phase, right? That is the principle of pattern multiplication. That is what I have illustrated here. So in exam, they may use to ask, illustrate the principle of pattern multiplication using some example, right? So this is that example, right? This is that example, right? So I hope it's clear, right? I hope it's clear, right? So now, array of similar but unequal non-isotropic sources. So if right, if the same case, if the dipoles are kept like this along x-axis, source 1, source 2, and this is origin, right? If the dipoles are kept like this, but they are actually what? This is E1 is actually mode of E1 is E naught dash, say sine phi. Mode of E1 is E naught dash sine phi, and mode of E2, say in this case mode of E2, it is equal to A E naught dash sine phi. The case phi which we have seen, So in that case, E naught, right? E naught will be equal to, right? E naught will be equal to E naught dash sine phi, right? E1 will be E naught, that will be E naught dash sine phi, and E2 is A E naught, that will be A E naught dash sine phi. So in this case, we can write the magnitude pattern as actually what? Product of sine phi times This is the magnitude of actually what case 5, what we have seen, right? This is the magnitude of case 5. If you remember, magnitude of 1 plus a cos phi the whole square plus a square sine square psi, right? That is the case. So in that case, this will be the right. So this is due to array element, non-isotropic array element. This is due to isotropic array, right? So this is again a principle of pattern multiplication. This is E naught sin phi pattern, right, with unequal amplitude, right? Unequal amplitude. This is the case. Right? I'll share this note with you, right? I'll just share this note with you. You can see it later on, right? Not a problem, right? So that is about the principle of pattern multiplication. Now I'll move on to the final expression, right? Suppose f of theta comma phi is a field pattern of individual source. I'm representing as f, small f of theta comma phi, and if f subscript p of theta comma phi is the phase pattern of the individual source, right? Phase pattern of individual source. So and capital F of theta comma phi is field pattern of array of isotropic point sources. Fp of theta comma phi is actually what phase pattern of array of isotropic point sources. Then the resultant field due to array of non-isotropic point sources having individual field pattern and phase pattern like this, right? Array of two such sources. The resultant will be, you can see the magnitude pattern is actually what product, right? Product of these two. Magnitude pattern is actually what product of these two, and phase pattern, if you see, it is actually what sum of these two. Phase pattern will be actually what sum of these two, right? That is actually what the in general, right? If you have, that's how you can write the principle of pattern multiplication, right? Principle of pattern multiplication you can write like this, right? So, or in other words, if non-isotropic source has a radiation pattern given by f of theta comma phi angle fp of theta comma phi, right? Then isotropic has a radiation pattern. Isotropic, in same case, if you replace a non-isotropic with isotropic, it has a radiation pattern capital F of theta comma phi angle capital F subscript p of theta comma phi. Then the resultant, right? So if the resultant field E due to actually what array of two such non-isotropic sources will be product of these two, right? So I can also write like this: E is equal to f of theta comma phi angle fp of theta comma phi into capital F of theta comma phi into angle fp of theta comma phi, right? So this, right, you know, r1 angle theta 1 into r2 angle theta 2, it is equal to actually what? Magnitude is r1 r2 and phase angles will be added, right? So the resultant will be actually what? Product of phases of resultant field will be product of phases. So magnitude pattern will be actually what? Product of magnitudes, and phase pattern will be sum of phases. That is the most general expression. That is how generally we can write principle of pattern multiplication, right? So that's it from my side, right? That's it from my side. I know today's topic, they are not quite straightforward, but if you think through, you will be able to appreciate it, right? In any doubt, please feel free to ask. If any doubt is there, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, right, please do let me know whether you understood something at least. If you understood something, please do type in yes. Otherwise, please do type in no. Was not very clear, please do type in no. And after that, you can leave. Right. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Right. After that, you can leave. Yeah. Portion for the test. It's actually after this, we have array of n isotropic point sources till there. array of n isotropic point sources. So module 3, right? Module 3 complete, and module 4 till this topic and one more topic. What I'll be teaching next, right? Array of n isotropic point sources. Right, but before that itself, I'll start with dipoles, but I'm not including that for second internal. Or should we include that dipole portion also? What do you think? So that you will get more options. Yeah, Sherwin, what do